Yo, yo, yo. Look who we have here. It's your boy, Mr. CJ Curry. It's the CJ Curry Show. It's presented by PrizePicks. PrizePicks is making daily fantasy easy by allowing you to select anywhere from 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 of your favorite superstars from your favorite sports. Get them all right. You can win up to 25 times your money, my friends. But today is Flex Friday. So if you're not playing on PrizePicks yet, you want to get started, make your first deposit. I've left a special link for you down in the description of today's video. Use that link, use code Curry, and they're going to match you dollar for dollar all the way up to $100, making your first entry on PrizePicks completely risk-free and on the house. Who doesn't like a risk-free entry on PrizePicks? Go ahead, y'all. Get signed up if you're not playing yet. Shout out to everybody who's joining me in the live chat. How many of y'all we got in here right now? 283? Damn, okay, I see you. We got a lot of people in here showing up and showing out. See a lot of chitter chatter going on in the live chat. I appreciate that. Buddha Vendetta, salute to you. Already starting off the live stream with a big fat super chat. $10 super chat. Yo, I appreciate you, bro. I appreciate that for real, for real. That goes a long way in supporting the content, supporting everything that we do here on the YouTube channel, supporting everything that we do behind the scenes in Dub Club and Discord. So I appreciate that. Every little contribution goes a real long way when you're a content creator, and I don't take those for granted whatsoever. I really do appreciate it. He says, just wanted to start off by saying thank you. Whatever happens today, we are grateful for you and the growing community. Much love. Let's go 6 out of 6, baby. Let's go. Hey, I appreciate it. I love the energy, love the vibes that you're putting out there. Positivity goes a long way around here, especially whenever things get rough, because you know things do inevitably get rough when we're playing on PrizePicks, when we're betting on sports. But as I said at the end of today's early release video, listen, hard work pays off, dreams come true. Tough times don't last, but tough people do. All right? Y'all always remember that. Through the highs, the lows, all right? Never too high, never too low. We try to stay even keel, stay on even ground. There's gonna be good days, there's gonna be bad days. But the thing is, we get to do this every day. So keep that in mind. It's a marathon, not a race. One bad day does not define us. One bad week really doesn't define us. Let's try to win the month. Let's try to win the quarter. Let's try to win the year. You know what I'm saying? Got to have that macro mindset, not micro mindset, macro mindset. Think big, think long term. All right. A lot of y'all get beat up a little bit in these PrizePicks streets, and you start getting down, you start getting dejected, you start beating yourself up. Listen, stay at 1 to 5% of your entire bankroll. All right. Play conservative, set limits for yourself each and every day. That way you're prepared for the storm when it inevitably comes around again. All right, there's gonna be days where you go and you win, 2, 3 days in a row, and then you're riding on cloud 9. That doesn't mean increase the units per entry that you put in. That doesn't mean increase the entry amount, how many entries you play in total. Have a plan. You'll go a lot further, guys. This is daily fantasy sports. We get to do this every single day. There's literally a sporting event on every damn day for us to bet on, all right? Just putting it out there. I want to remind you guys, set your expectations realistically. You ain't going to get rich. You ain't going to retire early. PrizePicks will never allow me to make so much money off of them that I'll be able to retire early. I'm sorry. It's just not going to happen for you, for me, or anyone. All right? So, got a lot of folks in here. I just want to say shout out to everybody in here. You guys are dropping super chats on me, man. Thank you for the super chats. Appreciate those. Anthony Wilson. First super chat on a live stream, and it's for me. Thank you. I appreciate it. Let's see. Some of you, your messages are getting deleted. Oh, Braxton. Brax, you got to just reduce the amount of exclamation marks. The bot doesn't like too much like spamming and stuff. So just, letting you know how that works. So, Zach, what's your problem? He said, dude, come on, seriously. Seriously what, Zach? What's wrong? What's wrong, brother? You upset? Don't be upset. Do not be upset. Hey, I release a 15-minute video for a reason. For those of you with shorter attention spans, that's for you. For those of you who, just want to chill and vibe out, this is for you. We got the live stream for that. So anyways, yeah, my favorite food, chicken wings right now, man. Chicken wing crazy. Hey, it is Flex Friday. I appreciate everybody joining. Let's talk about what's been going on here. They got the 12 days of Picksmas going on PrizePicks each and every day. New promos dropping every day. Today is Mrs. Claus, so you guys aren't aware, it's Flex Friday, Picksmas style. If you don't win your entry, it activates the Mrs. Claus. So you get your net losses back up to $30. So instead of $20, they've raised the limit to $30. So we got a little bit of, Flex Friday on steroids, we'll call it. Flex Friday on steroids. So it's a great time for you guys to be playing on PrizePicks. And Rudy Gobert did us a solid. He did get that block that we were hoping for yesterday. So shout out to Rudy Gobert for that. But yeah, pretty cool what PrizePicks is doing. Some kind of new promo each and every day, all the way up to Christmas Day. And of course, you still got that Kevin Durant free square. For those of you who haven't used the KD free square, it's still waiting right there for you. It's got like a $25 limit on it. All right. So you can use it anytime between now and Christmas Day. Take advantage of that. But yeah, what we aim to do today is absolutely try to make a 6-pick. I think we're going to go for a 6-pick flex. Try to go, 6 for 6. Get that 25x. Make sure you go to the promotions tab if you haven't yet. You should actually have 2 different promotions in there. 2 different promotions. You've got the Flex Friday Protected Play. Make sure you opt into that. Boom, just did that. Got to go to the promo tab of the PrizePicks app. So we opted into the Mrs. Claus $30 protected play, but then you also have the stocking stuff, which is the Rudy Gobert promo. He blocked a shot, so now we get a chance for a 30x payout boost. So we're going to be making 2 6-pick flexes. We're going to try to go for 30x on one, and then we have a $30 protected play on the other, where if we go 6 for 6, we can 25 times that $30. So you got 2 different options, 2 different promos going on. All right, so make sure you opt into those before you make any type of entries over on PrizePicks if you want to take advantage. All right, so we got the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer pulled up. Obviously, the Optimizer is a really handy tool to have over on PrizePicks. What this does is it goes out there and it looks at all the different sports books, and it basically gives us true odds or fair odds of a pick, prop, or play to hit. All right. So it'll strip out the vig or the juice in this case, and it'll, say, hey, based on what we have here, the true odds, fair odds are, 53% or 52% or 55%. So we're going to definitely be referencing this tool throughout the show. And then I also want to take as many questions as I can from you people. Listen, there's a lot more of you than there are me. 446 people watching, only 1 Curry. And so I won't be able to get to everybody's questions. But those who leave super chats, questions with a super chat, I'm definitely going to prioritize you guys. You guys are like fast pass riders at Disneyland, right? You get to the front of the line. So if you guys have questions that you need answered, hard-hitting questions, then go ahead and feel free to leave a super chat. And I'll make sure that, we'll get to you. Yeah, speaking of that, Chris Raptor brings up a good point. You cannot use demons or goblins or gremlins or ghouls or ghosts or any of those things on your free entries. What are we thinking about these demons and goblins? If you've played on Underdog before, they've got those like peppers, spicy chili peppers. They're a little harder to hit. I think this is kind of like PrizePicks' answer to those little spicy chili peppers that you've seen on Underdog. It's kind of a way to maybe challenge Chalkboard. Chalkboard's got those alternate lines that you could play. Are we liking these demons and goblins, this whole concept? I don't know. I don't know how to feel about it. I think it complicates things a little bit. I think it like muddies up the waters a little bit on PrizePicks. I'm not sure that I'm completely sold on it yet. Basically, demons are harder to hit, but they increase your payout by a lot. And then the goblins are easier to hit, but you're not going to get as big of a payout. So I don't know. For those that want to take more of a risk, I guess play the demons. Or you could just like not play either one. You could just play the regular line, whatever the regular line is. But you're going to see some props out there like Gardner Minshew's passing yards. You got a demon line, maybe 2 demon lines. You got a goblin line, and then you've got like a regular line. I don't know. I just think the whole naming of it and everything is stupid. I thought there was a better way to do this, but I don't know. It's not my favorite. I'll be honest with you. Not loving it. King United says, I'll just stick to Hard Rock for alternate payout lines. I hear you, bro. I hear you. The payouts are better on your sports books. They definitely are. Yeah, it is more of a distraction. You know, that's what I think I liked about PrizePicks was the fact that it was such a clean and easy user experience. Their app's real simple to use and simple to understand, pretty easy to understand, more or less, right? But now you got these little demons and goblins that they've kind of mixed in, and I think it just complicates things. And I don't know that I like complicated. I think I like simple. I think that's what sets PrizePicks apart from some of the competition out there. It's a simple app, and it's a simple concept, more or less, right? Daily fantasy made easy. I think this makes things just a little bit more confusing for most people. Yeah, Sager said, I think it looks trashy. I kind of agree. It's kind of gimmicky, right? I mean, it's like, I don't know, just kind of childish or something. I guess that's the demographic they're catering to, though. Caesar says he's hit 2 red demons. Yeah, I really liked Aiden. What's his name? Forget his last name. Raiders quarterback last night. His passing yards looked really good. I think both of the quarterbacks ended up going over. Some of you guys are saying that the J.O. from the 63rd says the 2 demon payout is horrible. There you go. Yeah, it's probably not worth doing. Anthony says they're not hard to hit. They put on picks that are obvious. Okay, good feedback. D'Angelo says the only thing I do for the demons is a 5 out of 6 is 25x. Okay. Looks Androidy. Yeah, I understand that for sure. For sure. 6 pick of goblins is a 2.7x. Yeah, no thanks. I'd rather take the regular lines and go for a 25x. 6 goblins is 2.7x. That's nuts. That is crazy. Voodoo Ranger said he lost a demon by a yard when the Raiders put up a record night. Typical NFL BS. I hear you, bro. Shout out from Brazil. Wow. Oh, brawl. Shout out from Brazil, man. I'm over in Florida, Tampa Bay. Dodgers traded for Glass now. Yeah. Chargers fired Stanley. Yeah. Crazy, crazy. I hear you. Jake says, I've been scamming PrizePicks with these unders on 0.5 offensive rebounds lately. Smash them all. Interesting. Something to kind of look out for. Santana says, CJ, we both in Florida. Yeah, I'm in 813. Where you at in Florida? Where my Florida people? Stand up. Roberto Whitaker Jr. says, sup, CJ? My bud, Ivan Alexander. First time listening all the way from in El Panama. 507. Damn. Palm Bay. 561 in the house. 407. Clearwater. Damn, we got some Floridians up in here. Listen, I'm going to have to host an event somewhere in Florida, and then all the Floridians can just, like, meet up. We'll like rent out a venue and have like a party. We'll make it like a PrizePicks party, sports betting party or something like that. We'll do it at like a casino or a sports bar or something. That'd be dope, wouldn't it? Rent out a venue and then we all get together, like make some bets, drink, eat, have fun, watch sports. I think that would be lit. All right. Appreciate it, man. 569 people watching. I think we can go ahead and get started now. Let's go ahead and get started. Like I said, hit me with your questions if you got them. We're going to be taking a look at the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer like I do in all my videos. Speaking of, if you didn't catch today's early video, I'll just quickly recap what we were looking at in that video. We went with the Tyrese's. We went with Tyrese Maxey points, and we went with Tyrese Halliburton for rebounds and assists. Now, both of these picks did end up getting bumped up just a little bit. Where's Halliburton for rebounds and assists? All right, so both of these did get bumped up a little bit. We took the more on Hallie, and we took the more on Maxey. So Maxey was 24.5 points. Halliburton was 17.5 rebounds and assists. So both of them did get the 0.5 bump treatment. Now, we were expecting Tyrese Maxey to get us at least 25 points. We were expecting Tyrese Halliburton to get us at least 18 rebounds and assists. So you could still take these, but obviously there's tie or push potential now that they've been raised up by 0.5 on each line. So if you don't like the tie, if you don't like the push, well, then you may not want to take these. But I think we made a pretty compelling argument last night for both of these picks. I think both of them look really good. Just taking a look at the update on both of these, I just want to refresh and see kind of where the lines sit at this hour. Like, why did these get bumped up? Well, let's look at Tyrese Maxey first on points. He's still projected at 25.9 points. Here's why Maxey ended up getting bumped up. Look at all the freaking juice on these sports books, gang. I mean, if you took it at 24.5 points, you have to be feeling really good right now. DraftKings has him as a minus 175 betting favorite to go over 24.5 points. Minus 175 to go over 24.5 points. BetMGM has it as a minus 155 to go over 24.5 points. So if you got it at 24.5, like I said, you got to be feeling pretty good right now. But those of you who are still thinking about taking it at 25, I want to illustrate another point for you. FanDuel's got him at 25.5 points. He's a minus 122 betting favorite to go over even at 25.5. All right? So you're still getting a little bit of value on PrizePicks. He's at 25 flat on PrizePicks, 25.5 on FanDuel. And then PointsBet's got him all the way up at 26.5 points, gang. So we definitely locked in the value at 24.5 points. And that's the name of the game, right? Trying to secure that early value. What happens from here is not up to us. I mean, unfortunately, we don't have control. I would like to be able to do this for everyone, including myself. I would like to be able to pick up the sticks like this is NBA 2K and pretend like I've got control over the outcome, right? I'd be getting buckets with Tyrese Maxey. Joel Embiid would not score any points. I would force the issue with Tyrese Maxey. He would go over 24.5 points if I could make it happen, but I can't make it happen. Got to realize that once the game starts, we don't have any control over the situation. But we obviously did the right thing by taking him over at 24.5 points because now he's at 25 points, 25.5 points, and even as high as 26.5 points. So we did the right thing by taking the over at 24.5. Just putting it out there. Now, whatever happens once the game starts, we can't control that. But we put the work in. Now he's got to go out and put the work in. So Maxey at 25 points is still good, in my opinion, based on what I'm seeing here. Now, if you're thinking about Halliburton, the other Tyrese that we mentioned, let's take a look and see what happened with him. Now, he's not as juiced up at 17.5 rebounds and assists as Tyrese Maxey was at 24.5 points. He's a minus 130 betting favorite at 17.5 on DraftKings, minus 135 betting favorite to go over at 17.5 on BetMGM. But what I will say is this, FanDuel and PointsBet both have him at 18.5 rebounds and assists, which means their lines makers, who are probably pretty darn good at their job, thinks that he could land on 18 to 19 total rebounds and assists tonight. So we got it at 17.5, and we're hoping for 18. And it looks like it might be setting up for him to land like right on 18. He's a betting favorite to go over 17.5, but a betting favorite to go under 18.5. So between 17.5 and 18.5 is 18 rebounds and assists, which is what we need if we took the over at 17.5. That's it. Hey, case smooth, that's it, man. We put in the work. Now they got to put in the work. When y'all start to realize that we literally have no power or no control over what happens when the game starts, you will free yourself. You'll be like, hey, all right, money's in. Money's in good. We got in before the bumps. Money's in good. Now the players got to go and put in the work. That's all it is, man. We can only do so much, gang. I get people in my comment section all day long. Man, you owe me. Run me my money. Run you your money. I am a fat white guy who is looking into a camera and reading numbers off of a screen. You've got 2 eyes and 2 ears, most of you anyway. If you are looking at the same thing I'm looking at, if you agree with what I see, take it. If you don't agree with it, don't take it. Now, sometimes all the data points that we look at, it all seems to line up and it all seems to look perfect and it all seems to seem like it's gonna hit, but it don't hit. Sometimes it just doesn't hit. It's called variance. It happens, guys. But don't come in my comment section blaming me like I owe you. But what do I owe you money for? What does me spending my money have to do with you? What I spend my money on, why is that making you angry? I didn't tell you to do anything. You made a choice. You know it's gambling, right? You know there's risk involved, right? I'm just saying. Some of y'all have like wild, unrealistic expectations. Like I have some sort of control over what happens when the game starts. I have no control. I have no clue. These guys could go out there and get ejected. 3 nights in a row, I took a player that got ejected. Trae Young gets ejected. Needed 3 more rebounds and assists. My man got ejected at the start of the 4th quarter. Draymond Green obviously got ejected for throwing a haymaker at Yusuf Nurkic. Isaiah Stewart. Now, I'm not saying these guys were going to hit. Draymond and Isaiah Stewart weren't on pace to hit. But Isaiah Stewart ends up getting ejected with a flagrant 2. I mean, can I control that? Y'all want to get mad at me for Isaiah Stewart and Draymond Green and Trae Young getting ejected? Okay, makes a lot of sense. Not. Anyway. I'm not holding a gun to anybody's head, and I'm not forcing anybody to do anything. So if your little belly's grumbling and saying, I don't like it, something doesn't feel right, I'm getting butterflies, then please don't take these picks, my friends. I'm just showing you what I'm doing. I've never seen somebody get so upset at what another person does with their money. Y'all are getting angry at me because I choose to spend my money on, a certain player prop or pick. It's weird. It don't make sense to me. All right? I'm taking responsibility and accountability for how I spend my money. I know it's a gamble. I know it's a risk. I'm just recommending that you guys do the same. Anyway, let's move on. Tampa Bay, Juan Perez, 813. Take Max if y'all want to. You're going to be sad as all right. Maybe we will be sad. Maybe these lines makers are bums on FanDuel who has them at 25.5 points instead of 24.5 points. Maybe the lines makers over at PointsBet, maybe they want to get fired. Maybe them putting Tyrese Maxey at 26.5 points. 26.5 points for Tyrese Maxey. Maybe they're looking to lose their job, man. Maybe they don't give a fuck no more and they're looking to get fired, bro. I don't know. I'm just, looking at some of these mispriced lines like Tyrese Maxey's points and standing out, as value. It's all about value. Blake Buffington coming through with a super chat. Let's look at Blake's question right now. We got a couple of super chats pouring in. And Blake is asking about Devin Booker's rebounds over 4.5. So let's use PropStat Cash, and we can take a look at those rebounds. 4.5 sounds kind of low for Devin Booker, right? Let's look at that real quick. So obviously the big 3 are all healthy for the Phoenix Suns. I believe Devin Booker, Kevin Durant, and Bradley Beal are all going to be active tonight. And then, of course, you got Yusuf Nurkic, man, in the middle. The big question marks are going to be Grayson Allen. Is he going to play? Is Eric Gordon going to play? We're kind of waiting and seeing for the injury news on both of those. But Devin Booker at 4.5 rebounds, 52% chance for Devin Booker to go over 4.5 rebounds. So you got a 52% chance as of right now. So is it a plus EV play? Yes. But is 52% like a strong plus EV play? Not really. I mean, it's not a super strong plus EV play, but at least you're not going against the odds in this case. At least the wind is at your back and the odds are in your favor. So you got that going for you. Now, Blake, it's going to be kind of hard for us to look at any real game logs with Devin Booker and how he could perform alongside of, the other parts of the big 3. And then, like I said, you still got the news of Eric Gordon and Grayson Allen being potentially in or out. We're not sure yet. One thing that you could do, though, with PropStat Cash that I think is pretty neat is you can come over to this combo props filter, and then you can include games or look at games where Yusuf Nurkic and Kevin Durant have both been active. So you got games here with Nurkic and Durant active. Now, they don't have Bradley Beal on here for some reason, so I cannot add Bradley Beal games played with Beal, but there's not very many. What did they only play 1 game this season together? But here's the games where Book has played alongside Nurkic and Durant. I mean, this at least gets us up to a little bit more of an accurate sample. He has gone over 4.5 rebounds in 8 out of 11 games. So it's a 73% hit rate, 6.5 rebounds per game average. And he's hit in the last 5 games playing alongside of Nurkic and Kevin Durant. Again, I'd like to be able to add Bradley Beal in here, but even if I did, I think there's only like a 1-game sample of that. Now, one other thing you could do is you could take Eric Gordon and Grayson Allen out if you wanted to. You go to this without section and click those games. And then you're left with like 1 game. So there's only been 1 game where Booker has played with Nurkic and Durant active, with Gordon and Allen inactive. And it was on 12/13, 2 days ago against the Brooklyn Nets. He had 6 rebounds. And of course, we know that Bradley Beal was active for that game. So he had 6 boards. But again, we are waiting on news. Let me, in fact, go to the latest news. You see Zion Williamson there. He is the poster boy for the news today. We're not sure if Zion's playing. He's questionable. LeBron's questionable. He did not play in that last game, but Anthony Davis did. Anthony Davis is also questionable. Jaylen Brown is questionable. Desmond Bane questionable. Jordan Poole questionable. Kristaps Porzingis doubtful with a calf injury. Markelle Fultz questionable. He's been out for a while for the Orlando Magic. DeAndre Hunter is questionable. Taurean Prince questionable. Grayson Allen questionable. And Mark Williams for the Charlotte Hornets is doubtful. So those are your big pieces of injury news to kind of stay on top of. Obviously, when players get ruled in and or ruled out, it opens up value, right? And you'll start seeing the lines change pretty quickly. PrizePicks is one of the better ones in terms of just taking down the entire team, taking down the entire board for that particular team. So it's hard to grab the value. You got to be super quick, almost like hovering over the button, ready to click on whoever it is once that news breaks. But if you're quick enough, you could definitely jump on some value. Like Kristaps Porzingis is doubtful. As soon as he gets ruled out and or Jaylen Brown gets ruled out, you could see Jason Tatum's line go through the roof. You could see Derek White's lines go through the roof. You could see Drew Holiday's lines get raised up, like if Brown and Porzingis are both out. So if you're quick on the trigger, you can definitely see some value. But as far as Devin Booker's rebounds, as of right now, I'm probably not going to touch it. I kind of want to see if Grayson Allen and or Eric Gordon are playing. But yes, it is a plus EV play. He has hit in the only game that we're able to reference. And then you take a look at a projection for Devin Booker's rebounds versus the New York Knicks tonight. 5.6 rebounds is his projected line. So there is a chance, based on these projection models and the information that we have as of 1:00 p.m. Eastern time, that maybe Devin Booker does go over 4.5 rebounds. 5.6. We could also take a look at the projections here. This is RotoWire. RotoWire just revamped their whole PrizePicks dashboard. Should have a promo code for you guys soon for RotoWire, for those that are interested in trying it out. But they've done a really good job here with redesigning their whole entire user interface, user experience. 6.93 projected rebounds for Devin Booker. So he's projected for 6.9 here and then 5.6 here. So 5.6 to 6.9 on 2 pretty good trusted projection models. So, I mean, for me, I guess, you could take it now if you want to take it. Here's the third projection for Devin Booker. He's at 4.9 rebounds. If you want to wait for Eric Gordon and or Grayson Allen to be ruled in, ruled out, totally fine. Understand that. But hopefully that gives you a little bit more information, Blake. The Knicks are a team that is typically tough to rebound against. If we go and take a look at the DVP, defense versus position, we go to like the last 7 games. We'll call Devin Booker the shooting guard at this point because now that Bradley Beal's back, I think Beal's going to operate more as the point guard. Booker's going to play off the ball a little bit more, but I mean, they're both going to have their hands all over the basketball. But we come over here, look at the last 7 games, shooting guard position, and rebounds allowed to shooting guards. And then we go and we find the New York Knicks. The Knicks are all the way down here at the bottom. They're giving up about 4.8 rebounds per game to opposing shooting guards. That is the 4th fewest in the last 7 games. So is it a great rebounding matchup or spot for Devin Booker? Probably not. Not really. Not against New York. I mean, even without Mitchell Robinson, they still have Jericho Sims. They still have Isaiah Hartenstein. They got some big bodies, some big boys that can rebound. And then, of course, you got Yusuf Nurkic, right, on the other side, playing alongside Devin Booker. So there's a lot of trees out there that could potentially take some rebounds. Julius Randle, another one. Here's the New York Knicks, 4.6 rebounds allowed, the 4th fewest rebounds allowed to point guards as well. So they're not giving up a ton of boards to point guards or shooting guards. So if you think Devin Booker's the point guard or the shooting guard, I mean, that's debatable, subjective, but not getting a lot of rebounds given up to either position, point guard or shooting guard. So Blake, hopefully that answers your question. Hopefully that gives you a little bit more insight and information before you go taking any picks, especially Devin Booker at 4.5 rebounds. Hope that helps you out. Ryan Rule. No, it's not Ryan. It's Ryan Wooldridge. Thank you for the super chat. Hi, can you look for DraftKings for tonight's tiers slate? And who is the best players to play tonight's games and best to play? Thanks. Ryan, I don't know that I'm familiar with what you're talking about. DraftKings tiers slate. What is that? I'm going to be honest. I'm completely ignorant as to what a DraftKings tier slate. Who is the best players to play tonight's games and best to play? I have no idea what you're talking about, bro. Is that even player props? What is DraftKings tiers? Somebody inform me. Is that like a DraftKings DFS fantasy or something? I don't know what that means. Can anybody translate that super chat for me? What is a DraftKings tier thing? I don't know. Anyway, Sassy K coming through with the super chat. Let's get this money. We gambling, baby. That's it. That's the name of the game. It's gambling, guys. It's gambling. Yes, we can do research. Yes, we can look at projections. We can look at game logs. We can look at odds on the sports books, but hey, sometimes even when everything lines up and everything looks sweet, it ends up being sour, man. So there's only so much we could do. Yvonne coming through with a super chat. What do you think of Embiid? He's been going off, but coach always benches their starters for the fourth quarter if they sweep the opposing team. Here's what I think of Embiid today. Is he in a great spot? Against the Detroit Pistons, absolutely he's in a great spot. Let's just look at the last 7 games. Joel Embiid, obviously one of the best, if not the best center in the league. He might be number 2 behind Jokic. That's for you guys to decide. But nonetheless, is the matchup good? Absolutely. Detroit's given up 26.5 points per game to centers over the last 7 games. That's the third highest point per game average over the last 7 games. And I mean, that's not even just a recent thing. If we go back to the last 15 games and take a look at what Detroit's doing, the last 15 games, they're giving up 27 points per game, third most points per game to centers in that span. And if you want to take a look at the season averages, well, it's sweet there too, guys. Detroit is giving up 23.8 points per game to centers for the entire season. So they're giving up more points lately, last 15, last 7 than they have for the season. So they're trending in the wrong direction entirely. And a lot of that has to do with recent matchups against, a guy like Joel Embiid. They're also giving up over 15 rebounds per game, which puts them inside the top 10, right around the top 10 most boards given up to opposing centers. And then 4.16 assists per game over the last 7. So yes, Joel Embiid is in a fantastic spot. But your question is, there's blowout risk, right? I think we talked about that in today's early video. Go show some love to my early video. It's the one with Tyrese Maxey's big face plastered on the thumbnail. Go show some love. Hit a like on that for me if you could. But look at the spread on this game. 16.5 points is what it opened at. It is now sitting at 16 points. A 16-point spread. That means Philadelphia is expected to beat Detroit by about 16 points, more or less, okay? It's not a question of if Philadelphia is going to win, but by how much. It could be a little bit more competitive because they did just play each other. Coaches and teams and staffs for each program, they end up, making some adjustments, and things are typically a little bit harder. I mean, are we really thinking Tyrese Maxey's going to score 9 points again in back-to-back nights? I don't think so. I don't think Tyrese Maxey's going to score 9 again. I think he's in for a much better night than 9 points. Now, if Tyrese Maxey eats a little bit more, that could cut into Joel Embiid's production just a little bit, right? If Maxey's hot, he's got the hot hand early on, they might double team Embiid a little bit more tonight. They're going to have to make adjustments. They can't leave Isaiah Stewart on an island one-on-one with Joel Embiid. It just ain't going to work. He's going to pick up fouls like he did in the last game. 2 early fouls on Isaiah Stewart. Out he comes. In comes James Wiseman, right? That's probably what's going to happen again tonight. Embiid's going to get these guys into foul trouble. Or they double more. They don't leave Isaiah Stewart one-on-one with Joel Embiid because they said, hey, this didn't work last game. We can't afford Isaiah Stewart getting in foul trouble. Let's double team. Every time Embiid touches the ball, just double him and make him a passer. Make Tyrese Maxey, make Tobias Harris, make DeAnthony Melton beat us. We can't let Joel Embiid do what he did last time. So I don't know. Coaches make adjustments from game to game. I would not be surprised if Embiid takes a little bit of a step back tonight and Tyrese Maxey plays closer to his averages of about 27 to 30 points per game. That's Tyrese Maxey's averages. He ain't going to be at 9 points back to back. If he scores 9 points again tonight, I may never take Tyrese Maxey over on points again. I'm just saying. If that happens again where he scored 9 points in 2 straight nights against this bum-ass team, I may never play a Tyrese Maxey prop for as long as I live. But anyway, you're asking me what I think about Embiid. He's in a great spot, but yes, there is blowout risk. But what's great about PrizePicks is this. You can go over here to this NBA 1H, which is NBA first half only. You could take something like Embiid for first half points. You could take something like Embiid for first half points, rebounds, and assists. I think this has been bumped up. I believe I took it last night at 26.5. It's now up to 27.5. I think that got bumped up. Those who are in the chat, let me know. Did this get bumped up? I think it was at 26.5, wasn't it? Or am I crazy? I might be crazy. You could also take first half fantasy score for Joel Embiid, which he has hit in 5 straight games, including 46.5 first half fantasy points against Detroit in their last matchup. So Embiid first half is a safer way maybe to play an Embiid prop. If you're afraid that this game blows out and maybe Embiid just doesn't have enough minutes in him due to a big blowout for him to reach some of those high numbers for his full game. In a situation like this, you don't have to worry about a blowout because it's first half only. So it's a great strategy if you really like a player in a spot, but you're afraid that the game's going to get out of hand. And while we're talking about these, let me throw another one at you. I don't know if he's been moved up yet or not. There was another one that I was really liking last night. Yeah, it did get bumped up. It was this guy, Kyle Kuzma, going up against the Indiana Pacers. Pacers, I think, are about 8.5-point favorites, but Kuzma for first half could be a good way to get exposure to this game. Kuzma is in a really good spot today against the Pacers. Really high total in that game, 258 plus points expected to be scored between the two teams, Washington and Indiana. And of course, we've seen Giannis Antetokounmpo absolutely destroy the Indiana Pacers front court. Now, I'm not going and saying that Kyle Kuzma is as good as Giannis. No, of course not. I would never do that. But Kyle Kuzma is arguably the #1 option for the Washington Wizards. And we know that the Indiana Pacers are not very good at defending the power forward position. 34.5 points allowed per game over the last 7 games. You want a bigger sample size, we could look at the last 15 games where they've given up 32.4 points per game to power forwards in the last 15. So is it a great matchup for Kyle Kuzma? Absolutely. They've given up big scoring nights to the likes of Pascal Siakam, Giannis. So check this out. Another way that you can use Prop.Stat.Cash, you click on Kyle Kuzma's name, click on first half, click on versus Indiana, and go to the points. And the last time he played the Pacers, which was October 25th, he had 16 first half points against him in that game. So even if we bump this down to, where's he at now, 13, get an accurate read here, he did go over pretty easily. At 12.5, if you got him there. At 13, he went over that too with 16 first half points versus the Pacers. So if you're looking for first half option, Some of y'all like playing first half. This could be a good one for you. And then you go to the power forward position. You can kind of just see some recent power forwards that they've faced. Giannis had 64 points against him. 37 from Giannis in another game. Hell, even Caleb Martin had 18 points. You could scroll down here. Jeremy Grant with 34 against him. 36 for Pascal Siakam. 24 for Paolo Banchero back in the middle of November. Another 54-point bomb from Giannis. I mean, they're just not guarding the power forward position very well. Lauri Markkanen had 24 points. So you could go Kuzma over first half points. That could be an option for you. I mean, the total on this game is super sky high, 260 points now. It was at 258 when I made the early bird video. It's been jacked up now to 260 total points. It opened at 257.5. It's now been raised up to 260 points. So there's going to be a lot of buckets being gotten by both of these teams here. So, Yvonne, I like Embiid. You could go first half only. I appreciate the super chat. If you're worried about the blowout, just go first half on Embiid. I did take him at more than 26.5 first half PRA. Cool. You go fantasy score, you go points, you go PRA, whatever you want to go with. All right, somebody's clarifying what DK tiers are. My Filler Arc says DK tiers is daily fantasy sports, but that's like where you're building out. You know, you get like a sum of money, right? Fake money to build out like a roster, correct? I don't have any information on that really. I mean, I could give you like DraftKings projections for, you know, a certain player or something, but I don't know anything. I don't play on those sites. I literally only play on PrizePicks. So I'm not sure about, I'm not tapped into anything DK tiers, DraftKings tiers related. Chris Raptor says, what about Pascal Siakam points over? Do we think it's going to be like a carbon copy of what he did against the Hawks the last game? Chris, was that what we're thinking? Just run it back, copy paste, Siakam versus the Hawks, run it back again. Let's look at it. Pascal Siakam's points. Hey, I just want to point out, Siakam had 24 first half points versus Atlanta. 24 first half points versus the Hawks just one game ago. But we're looking at full game points. He dropped 33 against the Hawks. What's his line today? 25.5. Guys, I want to point something out real quick. Can you see this? At the bottom of the screen here. Tyrese Maxey is now 25.5 points. So we took him at 24.5. He's went up to 25. He was sitting at 25 for a little while, but we talked about him, and now he's at 25.5 points. I'm just saying. I said it in the early bird video. For those of you who caught the video, I said that as the day carries on, you could see this line trend upwards, that it's probably going to get gassed up. Maxey versus the Detroit Pistons, and that's exactly what happened. So he started out at 24.5, got bumped up to 25. He lived at 25 for a little while, but now he's up to 25.5 points, my friends. I mean, we secured the value, and that's all we can do. Now Maxey's got to go out there and get buckets. So hopefully he does. Now, would I take it at 25.5 points? No. I would not take it at 25.5 points. If you missed it at 24.5, if you missed it at 25, well, then you just missed it. All right? You just missed it. It's just the way that it is. You know, today's not your day. You weren't there for it. But Kuzma over more than 13 first half points, I think is still a fine option. I still think Embiid for any of his first half plays, even though they've been bumped up. I don't love that his PRA for the first half has been bumped up a whole point. I think at this point, maybe the fantasy score would be the way that I would go out of all the Embiid options. Something like Embiid first half fantasy score at 32.5, 5 for his last 5, and you know he's going to put up numbers versus the Pistons, right? But this is a good way to get exposure to Embiid without exposing yourself to a pause. Without exposing yourself to a potential blowout is what I was trying to say. But yeah, first half only on Embiid. First half only on Kuzma. Another good way to go. So those are some options. Hallie's still sitting out there at the 18. I think the 18 is probably the right number. I don't know that I'd go, if it gets bumped up to 18.5, I don't know that I would take the over at that, but hopefully you guys got it at 17.5. But yeah, Maxi's all the way up to 25.5. I mean, what else can we do? The lines are getting bumped the way that we want them to get bumped. I think we made a fine read on Tyrese Maxey. And now we sit back and hopefully we watch him cash. Chris Raptor's liking Pascal Siakam for more than 25.5 points. Like I mentioned, Siakam did hit. He had a big game against the Hawks just one game ago, 33 points against Atlanta. I don't know that it's just one of those copy-paste situations. Normally when teams who have just played each other one game ago, those head-to-head, back-to-back matchups, usually teams make adjustments, man. And, sometimes it works out where you can just run it right back. Sometimes it doesn't. Sometimes the teams adjust accordingly. Here's what I can tell you, though. The Atlanta Hawks, especially without Jalen Johnson, over the last few games are giving up a lot of points to the power forward position. Scoring against Atlanta in the paint around the rim has been very easy as of late. Yes, they have Clint Capella, but he ain't doing much, especially not if you're a power forward. So Siakam against Atlanta, he's obviously in another good spot. They're giving up about 28 points per game to power forwards over their last 7 games. You look at the last 15 games for Atlanta, they're giving up about 27 points per game. So yes, their point per game allowed to power forwards is trending in the wrong direction if you're Atlanta Hawks. But if you're thinking about taking the over, then it's trending in the right direction if you're taking the over on Pascal Siakam's points. They're giving up more points in the last 7 than they are in the last 15. So maybe you just run it back. You just click the, rewind button and hit play again. And hopefully Siakam comes through for you. Now, as far as Siakam being a plus EV play or not, we can go check the sports books using the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer to get some more information on Siakam. Here's what I'll tell you as of right now. It's not looking pretty. His points and assists, 31.5 points and assists, 52.7% chance that he goes under. His points, rebounds, and assists, 38.5 PRA, a 52.4% chance that he goes under on that line. Now, you asked about the points. The points at 25.5, a 52% betting favorite to go under at 25.5 points. Here's what I don't like. Here's what I hate to see is the fact that FanDuel Sportsbook has him at 24.5 points. His line's at 25.5 on PrizePicks and pretty much every other site in Sportsbook, but FanDuel does have him at 24.5. That means he's trending in the wrong direction. That means that the lines makers over at FanDuel Sportsbook, one of the biggest sports books in the world, they think 24 to 25 points is where Siakam lands tonight. Now, 24 to 25 points ain't going to get the job done if you're taking the over at 25.5 points. You need 26 out of them if you take it over at 25.5, but the lines makers on FanDuel have them set at 24.5, meaning 24 to 25 points. So they're not so confident that Siakam is just going to be a copy-paste situation. That what he did one game ago was going to happen again tonight. They think that maybe he ends up having a bad game. Maybe the Atlanta Hawks make an adjustment. Something changes, and he doesn't get 26 or more points tonight. That's just what the FanDuel lines makers are insinuating by setting the line at 24.5. So it's a little scary. I don't like the fact that he's a whole point lower on a big reputable book like FanDuel, okay? As far as projections go on Siakam, we can always reference those and just kind of get a better read and idea of what might happen. Again, not looking good here. 24.5 projected points versus the Atlanta Hawks tonight, putting him a whole point under the 25.5 line that he sits at out on PrizePicks. And we could also check another projection, RotoWire in this case. RotoWire's got him all the way down at 22 projected points tonight. So his line sits at 25.5. He's projected for 22 points. What do you guys think? Is it going to be a copy pasta for Siakam tonight? Is he going to go over 25.5 points? Or should we trust the data and the fact that he's a whole point lower on FanDuel, the fact that he's projecting lower on a couple of different models? What do you guys think? I hear you, bro. The matchup is definitely there, Chris. We already confirmed that. We know that the Hawks aren't guarding power forwards at a very good rate. We know that power forwards have been eating against the Hawks. There's no question. Can't deny the data. The numbers are there. I just don't know if it's going to happen again, back to back. Like, we get into this idea of like, he hit last game, he should hit again tonight because it's the same team, and let's just copy and paste. Everything's going to happen the same way that it did from the last game to this game. Like, I think that's the wrong mindset to have. I think it's hard for a player to do exactly what he did against the same team in back-to-back games. Not impossible, just harder. Not impossible, just more difficult, okay? I mean, take Kyle Lowry the other night. We were on Kyle Lowry's rebounds and assists under 9.5, right, against the Charlotte Hornets. Previous game, he had 10 rebounds and assists, but I looked at the numbers and I was like, Kyle Lowry is in no way, shape, or form a 10 rebounds and assists per game average type of guy. He's not. He hit it in the last game, same team, same matchup, same situation for the most part, right? But that's not his averages. He's not an average of 10 rebounds and assists or more type of guy. And then the very next game, he ends up having like, 4 rebounds and assists? He went well under 9.5. So another thing that you can look at too is how Siakam performs at home versus the road. Now, the last matchup versus Atlanta, I think he was in Atlanta on the road, right? At home, he averages 22.5 points per game. He's going to be at home tonight. On the road, he averages 19.6 points per game. So he actually does average more points when he plays in front of the Toronto fans than he does when he plays in front of the opposing fans. So I don't know. We're just looking at the numbers here. His hit rates overall, though, on 25.5 points are not great. He's averaging 21.2 points per game this season, my friends. His line is at 25.5. Like I mentioned before, players typically play to their averages in the NBA. And in this case, we have a 24-game sample size on Siakam. And in those 24 games, he's only managed 21.2 points per game. Now he's all the way up at 25.5. He's not a 25.5 point per game type of player. We've got 24 games. I mean, we could even go back to last season. Last season, 21.2 points per game. I apologize, 23.5 points per game. So you want a larger sample size. This is 95 games that we have on Pascal Siakam. 95 games now that we have on Pascal Siakam. 23.5 points per game in 95 games. Yes, it's a plus matchup. But I mean, 23.5 points over 95 games is a far cry from 25.5 points. Just saying, he's just not that type of player. He might run it back tonight. He had 33 in the last game, but those games are few and far between this season. He doesn't typically have 30 a night. He doesn't typically have 26 a night. He's only gone over this number in 6 games this season. So, yeah, I know. We looked at the Hawks, Chris. We looked. Again, not denying that it's a good matchup. The Hawks suck. They're giving up a lot of points to power forwards. But the Hawks are also not idiots. There's going to be adjustments made. Just the way it goes. They're not going to let Pascal Siakam go off as much as he did in the first game, typically. Typically, they try to, make some adjustments. I'm just saying. I'm staying away from that, personally. Talk a little faster. Ooh, I can't talk any faster. Let me get some more of this energy drink, though. Maybe that'll Maybe that'll make my my mouth move a little faster. Pause, pause, pause. Hector, liking Jabari Smith over 9 rebounds. Let's look at Jabari. Hopefully you guys are getting some good ideas and good insights, though, from this live stream. Hopefully you guys are able to take some of these picks that we're discussing, if you're liking them anyway. We got Jabari Smith, 52.8% chance to go over 9 rebounds. His line is set at 9.5 everywhere except for DraftKings. DraftKings got him at 8.5 rebounds. He's a minus 180 over on DraftKings to go over 8.5. So you got him at 8.5 on DraftKings, 9.5 everywhere else. PrizePicks split it right down the middle, and they set him at 9 boards. So they've split the difference on Jabari Smith Jr. Now he's going against the Memphis Grizzlies, and I think this is another one of those games where these two teams just played each other, didn't they? Didn't Houston and Memphis just play each other one game ago? Let's look at these rebounds for Jabari Smith. Yeah, they just played 2 days ago. Another one of these back-to-back, head-to-head style games. I think there's like at least three of these games on today's slate where they just said, hey, let's just run it back. Same team, same matchup, switch the city, and boom, there you go. We'll run it back tonight. But yeah, Jabari Smith's been bumped down to 9 rebounds. So I set him to 8.5. You can see what he's done against Memphis this season. 2 games against the Grizzlies. He's had 9 and 10 rebounds in each of those matchups. 9 boards would be a push or a tie. 10 rebounds, he'd go over his line today of 9. But as I mentioned before, he's being bet under at 9.5, but being bet over at 8.5. Hard for these guys to go out there and do exactly what they did against the same team, same matchup in back-to-back games typically. But here's what Jabari Smith's doing at 8.5 rebounds over his last 10 games. Killing it. He's had 9 or more boards in 9 out of his last 10 games, guys. He's averaging 10.8 rebounds per game. So although he might not find 10 rebounds, there's maybe a good chance that he ends up with 9 rebounds. So I think for a push or better, you're probably in a pretty decent spot here with Jabari Smith Jr. against the Memphis Grizzlies. Like I said, he's had 9 and 10 in 2 matchups versus Memphis. He's hit 9 or better in 9 out of his last 10 games. If you take the over at 9, don't be surprised if it ties or pushes. Memphis is giving up quite a few rebounds, 45.6 rebounds per game. That's the 25th most, or the 5th most if you flip that around. Meaning there's only 5 teams giving up more rebounds per game to opposing teams than this Memphis Grizzlies team is. So the matchup's definitely there. Head-to-head's good. Last 10 games, he's done a great job of going over there as well. Let's look at some projections. His rebound projection is at 9.9 over on Fantasy Labs. So the action projection tool has him at 9.9 projected rebounds. So I would say that there's a pretty good shot that he has at least 9 boards. I like the fact that he's at 9. There's potential for him to hit 9+ rebounds tonight. He's done so in a lot of good, a lot of games. Good hit rate. Second projection has him at 9.35. This one is at RotoWire. See if I can make this just a tad bit easier to see. There you go. 9.3 projected rebounds over on RotoWire for Jabari Smith Jr. So 2 different projections. Both have him at least 9. But again, Hector, this could tie, this could push, just the way it goes. Just the way it goes, brother. So if you don't mind a tie, you don't mind a push, take it at 9. All right. What else we got here? Appreciate that super chat once again, Anthony. I didn't see a question attached to your super chat, but nonetheless, you're the real MVP for that. Appreciate that. Let's see. How many likes are we at? Let me refresh the stream because I don't think I got an accurate read on these likes. 163 likes. 531 people watching, but 163 likes. Can we get those likes up? Can I have you guys share the stream, share the channel to somebody too? My goal, and I know it's getting close here. It's getting close here. My goal by the end of the year would be 20,000 subs. Do we think we can get to 20,000 subs? Here we go. I'm going to unleash the power of the people. If we get to 20,000 subscribers, if we get to 20,000 subscribers by January 1st, January 1st would be my 3-year anniversary here on YouTube. If we get to 20,000 by January 1st, I'm going to give away $1,000 to somebody out there. $1,000. Record this, save this. I'm a man of my word. I'll give away to $1,000 to somebody out there if we get to 20,000 subs by January 1st. It's a challenge. It's 2 weeks. 2 weeks from now. The only way that it's going to happen, though, gang, is with your help and your support. You got to share the stream. You got to get this channel shared to as many people as possible. If you're in a group chat with some folks, share it. If you're in a Discord with some folks, share it. Maybe you're at grandma's house and grandma's asking what the picks are for the day. Share it with grandma. Maybe grandma wants to watch. But I will give away $1,000. Put $1,000 bounty out there. If we could get to 20,000 subscribers by my 3-year YouTube anniversary, we got about 2 weeks to get it done. 2 weeks to get this done. All right? We can do it. I know we can. There's a lot of y'all watching. Over 500 people watching. If you guys all shared this to somebody, we'll get to 20,000 easy peasy. Contavia says if he wins the 1,000, it's going to go right to his PrizePicks account so he can flip that. Bet. Make your money work for you. Jay says, thank you, Curry. You know I need that 1,000. We will be talking soon. Carlos, you like the idea of me giving away $1,000? I'll throw a G note out there, man. I don't care. It's worth it to me. It's worth it to me. I want to get to 20K. 1K to whoever loses the most on PrizePicks after hitting 20,000 subscribers. Woo! What energy drink is my favorite? This one right here. I don't know if you could see that. I don't know if it's going to be in focus right about there. It's called Goat Fuel. It's actually made by Jerry Rice. Jerry Rice is one of the founders, creators of it. Goat Fuel, greatest of all time fuel. Really good stuff. Tasty. All right, so yeah, back to business. But yeah, I want to give away $1,000 to somebody. Get it up to 20,000 subs by January 1st, and I'll give away 1,000. Matter of fact, if we're not at 20,000 by January 1st, what I might do if we're close, I might do an all-day stream. In other words, I'll stream until we get to 20,000, depending on how close we are. If we're like 500 away from 20,000, I don't know that I'm going to stream all day for 500 people to subscribe, but I'll stream all day on New Year's Day till we get to 20,000. If it's, a reasonable number, 100, 200 subs. We'll get there though. Yeah, we'll do a marathon stream. Damn right. Damn right. The juice. Go down to the description of my video today. Click that link in there for the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer. Ooh, Garland's got a fractured jaw. Sheesh. I did see Garland spitting out blood yesterday. That was not a good look. Porzingis is doubtful. Kristaps is doubtful. I don't think he's going to play. And then Jalen Brunson is questionable. Or not Jalen Brunson. Jaylen Brown. Jaylen Brown is questionable. Chris Raptor says, since Jonas over rebounds forgot in the Valanciunas over rebounds? For sure. Let's look at it. He's going up against Charlotte tonight, right? New Orleans versus Charlotte. Are we waiting on Zion news, though? I mean, that's probably my play, is to wait for Zion Williamson to be ruled in, ruled out. But as of right now, I'm not even seeing Joval's rebounds on the board. His points and rebounds, as far as plus EV goes, his points and rebounds at 26.5 is a plus EV move for over 26.5. 51.8% chance for him to go over 26.5 points and rebounds. I don't see just the rebounds on here, though. Try something else. Yeah, just the rebounds are not on the optimizer. There's a rebound combo option that you could take. Joe Val and Nick Richards under 21.5 combined rebounds, but I'm not touching that. But you could go Joe Val points and rebounds if you're looking for like a Joe Val plus EV play. His points on their own, though, 52.8% chance that he goes under on just the points. I mean, maybe PrizePicks. Does PrizePicks even have Joe Val's rebounds up on the board? Where's he at? It doesn't look like they have. No, they don't. It doesn't look like they have just his rebounds on the board on PrizePicks. They have his defensive rebounds. He's been crushing those, 10 and 15 in his last 2 games. He tied with 8 against Chicago. So those are defensive rebounds only. Rebounds and assists for Joe Val, you could go that route. He's projected for 11.7 boards, but like I said, I'm not probably messing with this until we know if Zion Williamson's in or out. I don't know if we have confirmation if Zion's playing. His Joe Val's rebounds and assists are at 14.3. His points and rebounds, if you want to go that route, 26.1. So there's a couple of different projections, couple looks for Valanciunas. But yeah, I mean, for me, I don't think I can feel confident about playing anything Valanciunas related until we get some confirmation on Zion. But taking a look at the rebounds for Valanciunas at 11.5. He's gone over in his last 2 games. He had 18 boards in his last game, 13 the game before that. Averaging 9.4 rebounds per game. If we take Zion Williamson out, Valanciunas' rebounds per game goes up to 11. But he's only cleared his 11.5 number without Zion Williamson in 2 games. 13 against Detroit, 18 against Washington. So 2 out of his last 5 games, he's without Zion. He's gone over. So I don't know. Kind of sketch looking, but as far as the matchup goes, it's a really good one. Charlotte does give up a lot of rebounds per game to opposing centers. If we take a look at the matchup on paper here, obviously Mark Williams is out for Charlotte, meaning Nick Richards is going to get the start at the center spot. They're giving about 17 rebounds per game, the 5th most rebounds per game over the last 7 games. So this is the 5th most rebounds per game to centers. So he's definitely in a good spot, but I like it more if Zion's probably out. So I don't know. I'm going to wait on that. Everyday Fantasy's asking about Turner. Is that Miles Turner at 13.5 field goal attempts and Kyle Kuzma at 2.5 free throw makes? Let's go back and look at those. Let's clear this out here. Turner, field goal attempts, 13.5 against Washington. We already talked about this total. It's up to 260 points now, guys. There will be shots going up. This will be a fast-paced game. Washington and Indiana will be a track meet, and there should be plenty of buckets, plenty of offense for everybody involved. So you're liking Kuzma for more on the 2.5 free throw makes, and you're liking Miles Turner for more on the 13.5 field goal attempts. Perfect. Appreciate that super chat. That's our guy Don P, by the way, a.k.a. Everyday Fantasy. Everyday Fantasy. Yeah, you can watch the replay of the live stream later. Somebody was asking about that. It does show a replay. So whenever the live stream ends, you can go to the playlist and you can watch the replay. So Rod said both times last season he was above 20, but it was last season. Yeah, I feel you. I hear you. Last season was last season. Shout out to Don P. If you know, you know. Exactly. If you know, you know. For those of you who have been in Discord for a while, and the eyes on the prize Discord, my Discord, you know Don P, man. Don P does work. So he's like a Miles turnover, 13.5 field goal attempts. It's hard to get field goal attempt projections. Let me see if I have any for you. Start here. We'll go here to RotoWire. RotoWire's got him at 13.6 projected field goal attempts. His line's 13.5. So a slight over on the projection at 13.6. I think you can also get field goal projections if you go to NumberFire. NumberFire is one of those free sites. Everybody should be using NumberFire, at least looking at it. I mean, you don't have to sit here and, go through every prop that you play, but, those tough props where you can't decide what to do. I mean, you come to a projection site like NumberFire, a free one. Sometimes seeing some of that data on NumberFire can absolutely help with your decision making. But if you're looking for the field goal attempts, you got to dig a little deeper. You got to actually click on whichever player you're looking for. It opens up this page. And then once you're on this page, you scroll down here and you take a look at the game log section. And under the game log section, you'll see an upcoming projections section. And under the upcoming projections section, you got FGM-A, field goal makes and field goal attempts. So he's projected for 15.2 field goal attempts, according to NumberFire. So the projections are not super strong for Miles Turner to go over. The projections are not super strong for Turner to go over. Another site that might have field goal projections, field goal attempt projections might be LineStar. Let me log in here. Let's see if they have anything for Turner field goal attempts. So many different tools, so many different sites out there that offer projections. It doesn't look like it. So no projections for field goal attempts for Turner on LineStar. Not seeing any anyway. So unfortunately, nothing there. But yeah, another thing you could do is use props.cash in this case. You type in Miles Turner's name. 13.5, my bad. Yeah, so he's projected for 15.2 attempts, and the line's 13.5. So yeah, that's a chunky over. So NumberFire's got him higher. NumberFire's got him higher than RotoWire. RotoWire's got him at 13.6. So conservative projection on RotoWire, much healthier projection on NumberFire. So average the two together, and maybe that's the number that Miles Turner kind of lands on for field goal attempts. Another way that you could do this is you could go over here to props.cash, click on points, scroll down here. They've actually got a module set up for field goal attempts. He's averaging 12.5 field goal attempts per game this season, 12.5, and the line is at 13.5. Is Outlier and props.cash the same thing? No. I haven't used Outlier extensively. That might be something that I do, though, in the near future. Maybe I can make a video kind of comparing the two. But not exactly the same. Similar in a lot of ways, but not exactly the same. They're not affiliated. They're actually two separate entities, two companies that are, not affiliated in any way. But anyway, so Miles Turner's played in, let's see here, 22 games. 22 games. And how many times has he gone over this field goal attempt number? You can use this little slider here. You could slide this all the way up to 14. And then you're left with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11 games. So 11 games, he has gone over 13.5 field goal attempts. 11 out of 22, we said. So that's a 50% hit rate. So it's not a really high hitting prop. But over the last 4 games, his field goal attempts are definitely up, or over the last 6, 7 games. I mean, he's had 14, 15, 18, and 16 field goal attempts in his last 4 games. So he's gone over in 4 straight. He's gone over in 5 out of his last 6. In 6 out of his last 8, he's gone over 13.5 field goal attempts. You could also look at head-to-head data against the Washington Wizards. Played him once this season, only had 8 field goal attempts in that game. Only 8 field goal attempts against Washington. Brack says, I like Outlier, just haven't bought it yet. Good feedback. Tim H says, Outlier is way better. What do you like about Outlier more than props.cash? Let the people know, Tim. What makes it better? I'd like to know too. Shoot, I haven't really used Outlier, like I said, but that might be something I start to look at. Might be something I start to look at. Anyway, there's some information for you on Miles Turner on those 13.5 field goal attempts. It is going to be a very paced up game. It is going to be a very fast game. And so I wouldn't be surprised if Turner's out there just chucking, putting up shots at 13.5. Maybe the over is the lean on that one. Kyle Kuzma at 2.5 free throw makes. Don P was liking the over on Kyle Kuzma at 2.5. He wants him to go for 3 or more free throw makes. Again, you could use props.cash, or if you prefer, some other site like Outlier. You can use that for your player prop research as well. Let's take a look at Kyle Kuzma here. Again, you can scroll down here. You can take a look at like free throw data. I believe they do have that information available here. Yeah, there's modules for just about everything you could possibly want on props.cash. If you want access to props.cash, there's a link down in the description. Use that link. You're going to save 25% off of your first month. Use code Curry if you've never used props.cash before, and save yourself some moolah. All right. Free throw makes for Kyle Kuzma. He's at 2.5. He's averaging 2.7 for the season. How many times has he gone over 2.5? Well, crank this thing up here. You got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 8 times he's gone over his free throw make line. So 8 out of 23 games. So not a very large sample size, or not a very high hit rate, I should say. Now versus the Pacers, we scroll down here and take a look at that information. His last 4 matchups against Indiana, he's gone over in 3 out of 4. This dates back to last season. Went 3 for 5 back on October 19th, 2022. Missed this one October 28th, 2022. The last 2 times he's played Indiana, December 9th, 2022, he had 5 free throw makes, and then he had 6. Went 6 for 6 against Indiana on October 25th of this year. So 3 out of his last 4 games, he has gone over his 2.5 free throw make line. Let's check some projections. I think we've got some projections for Kyle Kuzma's free throw makes. We can go back to RotoWire for those. Type in Kuzma's name. Let's go see where he's at. Free throw makes. 2.5 is the line. 3.55 is the projection. So for those who like to lean on projections, here's a good one for you. He's projected for 3.5 free throw makes. The line is 2.5. So you could take the over. You can take the over at 3.5 or at 2.5. He's projected for 3.5. Again, you could go to Numberfire. Numberfire's got free throw projections as well. You just got to go and dig a little deeper to find them. You just type in the name of the player that you want. You click on their name. It opens up this page. And then once you're on this page, get your scroll on. Go on down here to the game log section. You'll see FTM-A, that column. Free throw makes, free throw attempts. So he's projected for 3 free throw makes on 4 attempts. Again, the line is 2.5, so he is projected to go over on both Numberfire and on RotoWire. So you got 2 different projections for Kuzma to go over his line there. Now, I think LineStar does have projections for free throw makes, so let's see if we can find those. Get a third projection for you guys. Looks like LineStar's got him down at 2 free throw makes. 2.5 is the line. They've got him projected for 2. So I think if you were to average all 3 of these projections together, he'd be maybe slightly above 2.5. 2.5 is a pretty sharp number. But given the game script, the total, I mean, you could definitely see him getting to the line, right, at some point. So I would tend to lean with Don P, our guy, Everyday Fantasy, and take the over on Kyle Kuzma at 2.5. So there you go. There's another option for you. Jim, today seems like an under day. Oh, all right. Well, there you go. Tim H says, as far as Outlier being better than props.cash, he says, you just got to try it out. Free week. They give you a 7-day free trial. Okay, cool. He says, I think they have a free trial right now, but it helps with the plus EV lovers, also people who like to see the data, and helps if you like to do sportsbook building parlays. Okay. Is there PrizePicks support with Outlier or nah? Let me know. The Juice says, I'm trying to decide which one to sign up for. Need your input. Well, I mean, as far as optimizers go, if you're playing on sites like PrizePicks or Underdog or Better or Sleeper or Hot Streak or Fliff or Boom or any of these parlay play, Jock Market, Thrive, any of those sites, I think the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer is probably the one to go with. I don't know of another optimizer that supports all those daily fantasy sports pick'em style sites. I know OddsJam is another one out there. I'm not sure that it supports as many fantasy sites as this. So if you're living in a state where sportsbook betting's not legal and all you have access to are sites like PrizePicks, Underdog, etc., then I think this optimizer, the Daily Grind Fantasy Optimizer, would probably be the best one for you for daily fantasy fantasy sports sites. But speaking of fantasy scores, it looks like PrizePicks just uploaded a bunch of fantasy score plays. And so you can kind of see those. I don't really take a lot of these off of the optimizer, but those could be options for you to look at. Some of these fantasy score plays are giving you pretty high percentage or odds to hit. So we can actually go in here and uncheck those if we don't want to see those. And then we're left with pretty much everything else. So you got Nick Richards under 10 rebounds. For those of you guys looking for additional plays, Nick Richards under 10 rebounds. He's at 9.5 on some sites, 10.5 on the others. So PrizePicks kind of sliced that one down the middle. Here's a projection for those considering Nick Richards. I took Nick Richards under PRA earlier this morning. He's projected for just 8.8 boards. I know you guys were saying that you like Jonas Valanciunas for more on his rebounds. If he goes for more on his rebounds, then a good correlation pick would be Richards under rebounds, right? If we expect Joe Val to have a good day on the glass, then maybe that comes at the detriment of Nick Richards' rebounds, right? Maybe Joe Val's out-rebounding Richards and kind of stifles Richards' output when it comes to rebounding the basketball. But he's projected for 8.8. Again, he's at 9 on PrizePicks, so you could take the under there. That's the plus EV. I'm sorry, he's at 10 on PrizePicks. You take the under at 10 rebounds for Nick Richards. Could tie, could push. There's always that chance of that happening, but yeah, projected for less than 9 rebounds on Fantasy Labs. Here's some other picks to consider. RJ Barrett, 24.5 points, rebounds, and assists. You're getting about a 54% chance of RJ Barrett staying under his line of 24.5. Now, why is this a plus EV play? Because when you compare this line of PrizePicks, 24.5 PRA, to every other sports book, every other site literally has him at 23.5 points, rebounds, and assists. So PrizePicks projection of 24.5 might just be a little bit too high for RJ Barrett. Now we can go and grab a third-party projection from a projection model like Fantasy Labs if you guys want. Barrett's projected for 24.4 PRA. So if you're getting him at 24.5 PRA like you are on PrizePicks, you could take the under there. He's projected for slightly less than 24.5. Let's just get a second projection since that first one was so razor sharp. Second projection for RJ Barrett, also very sharp. 24.49 projected points, rebounds, and assists. And this is RotoWire providing this projection. So two different projections, both really close to 24.5. But I guess the lean would be toward the under when you factor in the odds and the fact that the sports books all have him at 23.5. Here's another play. Devin Vassell at 20.5 points and rebounds. About a 53.7% chance that he goes over 20.5 points and rebounds. How's that projecting? We can go look at that one. Ooh, looks like it's projecting really well, actually. 23.3 points and rebounds going up against the Los Angeles Lakers tonight, y'all. So 23.3, the line's 20.5, did we say? 20.5. Here's something that's kind of interesting. He's already at 21.5 on Caesars. He's also at 22.5 on FanDuel. PrizePicks is 1 to 2 points low on Devin Vassell at just 20.5. This is going to get bumped. FYI. This will get bumped. When you got a big sports book like FanDuel who has him at 22.5 and PrizePicks is at 20.5, a 2-point discrepancy, This is definitely going to get bumped. I don't know if it's going to get bumped all the way up to 22.5. It might end up at 22, though. Because he's at 21.5 on Caesars, 22.5 on FanDuel. It will not be at 20.5 for much longer, I don't think. Let's turn our refresh timer on. Let's refresh this Opti. But that's a good one. As far as getting value, that is a good value play. Vassell over points and rebounds. I could see that one getting nudged up just a little bit. It's too low at 20.5. Projecting handsomely as well. Check a second projection on that too while we're at it. Points and rebounds projection on RotoWire, 23.8. Yeah, the 20.5 just seems way too low, guys. 23.3, 23.8. He's at 20.5 on PrizePicks, so I would definitely consider throwing Vassell in there at over 20.5 points and rebounds versus the Lakers. That'll get bumped. Calling it now. That will get bumped. OG Anunoby, 7.5 rebounds and assists. 53.6% chance that OG is going to go under 7.5. You're getting fair odds, true odds, minus 136 to go under 7.5. So they do not expect him to collect 8 or more rebounds and assists based on the odds pulled from the sports books here. Now you can run projections alongside of these odds that you're getting from the sports books. Anunoby is projected for 8.6. So he's projected on this first projection model to go over 7.5. So maybe you wait for this to get bumped down to 7. Maybe it ends up at 7 and then you take the over at 7. But this first projection has him at 8.6. So that puts him over 7.5. So I don't know that I want to go under on that one. Here's a second projection of 8.1 rebounds and assists. Again, higher than 7.5. So for me, I don't think I'm going to take that one. I'll let that one chill. If it goes down to 7, then maybe we take the over at 7. Trae Young is at 11.5 assists, guys. He's going up against Toronto tonight. Is this too high? Is Trae Young too high at 11.5 dimes? It seems like it. And the only reason I say it seems like it, some sites have him down at 10.5. Now this is weird. DraftKings is reporting that he's at 12.5. 12.5 assists, but he's a minus 250 to stay under 13 assists on DraftKings. He had 17 against them a couple days ago. So we should assume what? Should we assume that he's going to have 17 again? He doesn't average anywhere close to 17 per game. I think that number's bound to come down some. I don't know that he's going to have 17 again. That would be impressive, though. Back-to-back games of 15-plus assists. I don't know. 53.6% chance that he's going to go under 11.5 as of right now, though. Like I said, when these teams face each other in back-to-back head-to-heads, usually does not play out exactly the same as the first go-around. Here's what I can tell you, though. At 10.5, he is a huge, huge, huge betting favorite to go over at 10.5 assists. Minus 180 on DraftKings, minus 165 over on BetMGM. So some of these other sports books have him up at 11.5. But at 11.5, you're seeing some resistance here. Nobody's really taking the over at 11.5. So he's going to probably fall to 11 at some point. He's going to be split between 10.5 and 11.5. I think he's going to find that landing spot of 11 assists over on PrizePicks. PrizePicks likes to do that. If there's two lines out there on a player, like a strong over at 10.5, but a strong under on 11.5, PrizePicks will put him at 11. So this will probably land at 11 assists here. I expect that one to kind of fall down to 11. But he is projected for 11.7 on Fantasy Labs. If you go over to RotoWire, RotoWire's got him at 10.4. So they do have him projected to go under over on RotoWire. So you got options. Options, my friends. Paolo Banchero over on points, L7. Maybe. Is Markelle Fultz playing tonight? Markel might be ready to come back. I don't know if that will impact Paolo Banchero positively or negatively. Fultz is questionable. I would imagine if Fultz is going to play, he's probably going to be back in the starting lineup. So whether you're using props.cash, outlier, or something else similar to these tools, what you could do with it is you could punch in Paolo Banchero's name. You could take a look at his game logs. And then you come down here to these player injuries. You can look at games without Wendell Carter Jr. first and foremost, because Wendell Carter Jr., although he is close to coming back, is not expected to play tonight. And then you can look at games with Markel Fultz. We've only got one game in the game log, and it was against Atlanta. One game without Fultz, or with Fultz and without Wendell Carter Jr. One game with Fultz and without Wendell Carter Jr. He had 17 against Atlanta. And like we talked about before, Atlanta versus Power Forward is a pretty easy peasy matchup, pretty soft matchup. But in this case, Paolo Banchero did not go over 21.5 points versus Atlanta. Small sample size. I'm just saying, small sample size. Now, if you take Wendell Carter out and you look at just the games that he's played alongside of Markel Fultz this season, you've only got 5 games, Fultz and Banchero. Fultz plus Banchero. 0 for 5, 13.4 points per game. That's pretty ugly. I mean, does Markel Fultz really impact Paolo Banchero's scoring? Or was Paolo Banchero just, at the start of the season, not the same player that he is currently? Maybe he's just showing poor form in that 5-game span. Could be that. So if Fultz plays, I don't know. You might want to pump the brakes on Paolo Banchero over on points. Might want to chill. You might want to just wait and see if Fultz is in or out. It's kind of weird, though, that Fultz being in led to some of these really abysmal scoring games for Paolo Banchero. Fultz ain't really a bucket getter like that. More of a facilitator, more of a setup guy. So kind of interesting when you get in there and you start digging around in some of the tools like a props.cash or like an outlier. As far as a projection on Banchero, he's projected for about 21 on Fantasy Labs. On RotoWire, he's projected for 19.2. So, yeah, I'm going to chill out on that one. Don't love it. I don't love it. Brax is saying Paolo under points, rebounds, and assists. Cool. Could be, possibly. Zonita says, for whatever it's worth, Banchero was off to a slower start when Fultz was playing. Yeah. That could be the situation. It could have just been, we caught Banchero at a bad time. It could be that Fultz was impacting what Banchero was doing during that time, that spell. That stretch of games. So I don't know. Interesting stuff, though. All right. Anything else poking out here? Let's refresh. Let's see if anything else is really standing out on the optimizer. How about Brandon Miller of the Charlotte Hornets under 5 rebounds? We already talked about Nick Richards under 10 rebounds. You got Brandon Miller under 5 rebounds as the top non-fantasy score play on the optimizer right now. Why is he the top play? Well, minus 198 on FanDuel to stay under 6 rebounds. And that's over on FanDuel. Minus 210 to stay under 6 rebounds on DraftKings. So a lot of juice coming in on the under for Brandon Miller. The odds do not suggest that Brandon Miller's going to find 6 boards tonight. So that is the top non-fantasy score play on the optimizer right now. It's Brandon Miller for less than 5 boards. Just putting projections to the optimizer and taking our research just a step further, adding another layer, another data point to look at. First projection for Brandon Miller's rebounds, 4.5, which does in fact put him under 5. All right. Second projection for Brandon Miller, RotoWire's got a projection up at 6 rebounds. So you got one projection higher at 6. You got one projection lower at 4.5. So I don't know about that one. Hey, look, Devin Vassell rising to the top of the optimizer. Did you guys take it yet? You better get it at 20.5 if you like it. The value is there, but it's going to go away soon. It's going to dissipate. It's going to disappear. Vassell's going to be bumped up to 21, maybe even 21.5 at some point. We'll see. Andrew says, I'm a bit regretful, and I used a lot of your advice, but when I put Bruce Brown over 2.5 assists on all my parlays. Okay. Why are you regretful for? Is that for tonight? You're already regretting what you did for tonight, and the games haven't even started yet? Come on, boy. You got to keep the faith, man. You got to keep the faith, man. You can't be regretful. The games haven't even started yet. Be regretful when the games are over. Don't be regretful before the games even start. I mean, we're hours away from the first game starting. You'll be all right, man. Hey, positive attitude, all right? We'll see what happens. Jaylen Brown, under 3.5 assists. He's questionable. I'm not even going to fool with this one. We got to see if Jaylen Brown's playing or not. We don't know if JB's in or out. He's questionable for Boston tonight. How about Kevin Durant, 38.5 points, rebounds, and assists? Do we want to go under on this? He's at 37.5 points, rebounds, and assists on all major sports books. 53.7% chance to go under 38.5. The big three has finally assembled, y'all. You know how the Avengers assembled? Well, the big three has finally assembled in Phoenix. You got Durant, Beal, Booker. They finally logged one game together. The big question in Phoenix tonight is Eric Gordon and Grayson Allen playing? The big three are expected to all take the floor tonight against the New York Knicks in the Valley of the Rising Sun, Phoenix, Arizona. KD's projection for his points, rebounds, and assists, 37.3. So his line is at 38.5 on PrizePicks. First projection has him at 37.3. Second projection for Durant tonight, 37.2. Okay, a couple of different projections. Both of them in this case are under 38.5. So that could be an option for you. If you think that Beal or Booker, you know, they kind of eat into Kevin Durant's upside, well, then there you go. Take the under on that. Andrew's saying he kind of likes Durant over 5.5 rebounds. Bet. Could be a good look. Three amigos in Phoenix blowing that game against Brooklyn. Absolutely. I hear you. How about the Clippers, man? They finally started to like kind of gel and figure things out, right? Somebody mentioned Brandon Miller under, what was it, PR or PRA? I don't remember. But Brandon Miller, not only is he projecting under for his rebounds, but under on the points too. Sorry, not projecting. The odds are on the under for Brandon Miller's points. But Brandon Miller, again, kind of weird. He's at 18.5 on one site. That seems way too high. So he's being bet under like crazy right now at minus 165. But you're also seeing him at 16.5 and 17.5. Now, PrizePicks has him at 17.5. The fact that he's at 16.5 lends itself to an under. So let's look at Brandon Miller's points projections real quick, because that could be another way to play Brandon Miller. Man, he's, again, projecting high at 18.3. I don't like that he's projecting high like that. I don't like that, but RotoWire's got him going under 17.5 at 16.8. All right. Weird. Brandon Miller's lines are weird today. Probably stay away from those. Bojan Bogdanovic. I took the under on Bog for points and rebounds early this morning. I took the under on Bojan Bogdanovic, points and rebounds. Again, Bog had a really good game last game, but we shouldn't automatically assume that just because he had a good game last game that he's going to just go ahead and do it again. It don't typically work that way, y'all. It does not typically work out that way. Just refreshed the optimizer, just looking for anything new that might have popped up. Here's one that I don't think we've looked at yet. Jonas Valanciunas over 29.5 points, rebounds, and assists. Again, Zion Williamson, questionable. Not sure if he's playing or not. But if he's out, then Joe Val versus Nick Richards is a very solid matchup. With or without Zion. I mean, Joe Val versus Nick Richards, solid matchup. He should, we don't know for sure, but he should have a good game against Nick Richards, you would imagine, right? Zion was present today at morning shoot-arounds. Okay. Okay. Good to know. Usually when they're at shoot-around, that means that they're going to be closer to probable than doubtful. But look at Paul George last night. He was at morning shoot-arounds and did not end up playing, and therefore James Harden popped off. Shout out to anybody who took James Harden over his rebounds and assists line. That hit for us. Donovan Mitchell hit the over on the assists, and Jared Allen hit the over on rebounds and assists. We went 3-0 in yesterday's video. Sweeping the board. Sweep. So, congrats if you guys took any of those picks. Yeah, James Harden hit at halftime. That was about as sweat-free of a pick as you can possibly get, right, Jim? About as sweat-free as you could ask for. James Harden's rebounds and assists. Even at 13, it got bumped up from 12.5 to 13 rebounds and assists. He blew the 13 out of the water. Yeah, I mean, some of these plays, you get down to the bottom of the optimizer here. I say the bottom, but like 52, 53% range. I mean, there's some looks in here that you can consider. Somebody mentioned Julius Randle's name at his optimal play here is points and rebounds over 33.5. Got a 53% chance that he clears that number against Phoenix tonight. So you could go Randle over 33.5 PR. Let's check some projections on Julius Randle real quick. First projection's got him at 33.2, gang. Not a super strong projection. He's in there. He's close, but not over. Second projection's also got him at 33.2. So I don't know. I'm gonna chill on that one. Nice. The Juice says yes. The 12.5 rebounds and assists helped him cash a 3-leg plus 465 parlay. Well, congrats. That should have been a sweet payout for you, my friend. But yeah, I think we're gonna like call it there. There'll be more plays. Obviously, if you guys are in Dub Club, I'll be sending out plays to Dub Club members later on. We'll do some more research and stuff offline. But I think we covered a lot of picks. Hopefully, you guys found some value and took some of those picks and threw them in your entries tonight. But yeah, good luck. I'm gonna get out of here. So I'm hot, hungry, and tired, man. I gotta go do some laundry as well, to be honest with you. But good luck. We'll catch you in the next one, guys. Peace.